from the crypt.
Hello, boys and ghouls. Welcome to a very special year-end episode of Dads from the Crypt, plus one of our favorite aunts. You and Alyssa can battle to the death to find out who's our favorite aunt. But
well, I'm the favorite. I'm the aunt, but she had a different title. It's like
she had a different title,
bitch or something.
That was for our Halloween ends episode. That was at one time. Title.
Oh, that's not
yeah.
her official title.
Generally a very nice person.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I'm not calling her a frigid bitch, and I don't even think that's what it was.
I think it was rancid.
Rancid.
Which is somehow better.
Yeah. Okay. Before we go completely off the rails, my name is Jason. I'm joined by Mando.
Hello.
Jody is having some sort of cat's vomiting issue.
No. This cat straight peed on his bed and is soaked all the way down to the bed. So he is in emergency mode right now. Because cats, as a man that owns 2 cats, cats kind of suck. Like they just do.
And again, we have our friend Whitney back on.
Whitney.
Yeah, Whitney. Okay, so we're gonna do our rundown of our top 5 plus some honorable mentions and whatever else comes up.
I'm Mexican. Can I call you Tia Whitney?
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be a very loose episode, as you can already tell. So just go with us for the ride. Okay, we're gonna start off with our number 5 plus any honorable mentions. Mondo.
All right, my number 5 for the year, and I do have to say, the one movie we'll talk about it later. My number 5 for the year is it can be debatable if it's horror or not, but it was a very pleasurable movie that kind of came out of left field. I did not expect to be as great as it was, and that is Prey.
I'll take Predator for horror.
I'll say Prey is horror.
Yeah,
I've always felt like the Predator movies and the first Terminator, even the second Terminator, are essentially slasher films.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they really are. Still stalk and slash.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like Letterboxd is saying it's a thriller, but to me, I mean, it's on my top 10 list, so it's like my 7 out of 10 for this year. So I would say it's a horror film.
And should I give my honorable mentions too?
Yeah.
So I missed out a lot this year, so I'm gonna name a few. I really did like the Hellraiser reboot.
Mm-hmm.
I when people list the million flaws it has, I respect it, but I really did enjoy it and thought it had set up a really, really nice foundation for potential future movies. I really did enjoy Deadstream, and I didn't think I would, because I watched the first 30 minutes of that movie and I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? Why did Jason tell me to watch this movie? And then once it gets into campy kind of Evil Dead territory, it's a blast. And then that first 30 minutes makes sense. I think I'd like it better in the second watch, actually. And my other one is Pearl. I really enjoyed Pearl. I don't think it was as good as X. And that's not a knock on the movie at all. I just it's a very different movie from X, I'm going to say. And X gave me a lot of stuff I love. And then I will call out one movie that's like, I call it 2 movies that are not horror. Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, I'll second that as probably my favorite all around movie of the year.
Agreed. And number 2, Violent Night.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Violent Night is everything I want out of a movie. And Whitney, did you hear the line they use, the throwback to Halloween?
Yes. John Logan's was like Santa dies tonight or something.
Christmas dies tonight.
Yes.
I was like,
I cheer too.
I was just
I like it when a movie is just completely ridiculous, but they know it's ridiculous. They're not just being like, sometimes the movie's being lazy with the physics and the plot and everything. But this one, I think all those things are completely intentional to be funny. And that just made it chef's kiss.
And I will say one more that I end up watching a second time. Something in the Dirt.
Not familiar.
Okay.
Yeah. I did watch that second time because
Benson and Moorhead film.
Yeah, because I watched it originally on the Chattanooga Film Festival, and I kind of didn't love it. Like I love their movies in general, but I just didn't quite. And it did a lot of really cool things. And on a second watch, kind of knowing where it goes, I think it was actually more enjoyable.
It's just a little too long.
Yeah, definitely too long. They could have cut a little bit out of that.
Yeah.
And then you'll remember the name of this one. Whitney was also Chattanooga Film Festival. It was the found footage one that goes just batshit crazy. It's coming out officially, I think, in 2023. So maybe I'll talk about it next year. I have to look it up. The trailer just dropped on
Pussy Cake.
No, but that was a fun one.
I didn't
too.
see that one. The only one from Chattanooga, and it didn't make my top list because I feel like that one's. I hope it gets a wider release. But it was the last Saturday in October, part 5. That like whole 5 and part 1 thing.
I agree.
But I think that's like a double feature. And like, I feel like that's just like a thing that's like, you have to watch part 5 first, but I think part 1 is better, but I don't know how it would be if you watched it in the other order. So it just didn't make my top 10. I'm curious of what found footage you're talking about.
The Outwaters.
Okay. Yes. I think that I saw that one in a theater and it was so loud and I was so upset because I could not control the volume. And like that movie is like jump scare noise, the movie.
Mhm.
But the visual effects, the fact that Robbie Banfitch, I believe is the director's name, does everything himself from the filming to the directing to the editing to the sound design was amazing. And they also have really good original music in the
So
film.
you're saying he needs a new sound designer?
No, I think you need to turn it down a notch.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he needs a team to help him out, and he's going to go really far. So I'm really excited because he's already working on another film.
Okay.
And one final one, which might be a recency bias, but I did really enjoy Shudder's Christmas Bloody Christmas. The first like 20 minutes of that movie is cringy, like zillennial, whatever the fuck we call modern people nowadays, dialogue where they're just like you can tell it's basically the director pushing all of his thoughts about music and movies through this one character, and it's really cringy. But when it turns into just fucking mechanical Santa Claus going ape shit, it's badass.
Yeah, I tried watching it and I very rarely turn the movie off. But I was something about it just rubbed me the wrong way. And I could just tell that I just was not in the mood for it. So
Jason skipped the first 20 minutes because the second half will rub you in all the right spots.
yeah, I think I just need to do that. I'm totally willing to give it a chance because I love VFW so much.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have that, but the cast of VFW is just amazing.
I'm dead serious. Like if that first 20 minutes kind of turns you off, just skip it. Like you don't need it. You really don't need it.
Okay. I'll give it another shot. All right, Whitney, give us your 5 and your your honorable mentions.
Sure. So my official number 5 is Pearl. I'm a big Ty West fan. So the fact that we got 2 Ty West horror movies this year just made me so excited because he's been gone for a very long time. And he's been doing some television, and he did like a Western was his last film. So for him to come back and pop out 2 horror movies this year, and then we're getting hopefully another one next year, I'm all about it. Welcome back, Ty West. So I will go through, I will name about 5 honorable mentions, a few that Mando has named, but this is my 6 through 10, cool. So honorable mentions. Deadstream, I actually absolutely loved that. It speaks to me on levels in the sense that it's kind of like an industry I work in, and they nailed it so much. I want to go back and watch it and like literally just pay attention to the chat. The names were amazing. The chat was hilarious. It was very fun. Prey. If people are mad that Prey is not a horror movie, I don't know. There's Alien versus Predator, and if that's not a horror movie, then I would think any movie with Predator is officially horror because of that. My number 8, or just another honorable mention, is Fresh. I think that one was very early in 2022, so I think it might get lost in because there's just so much good horror this year, but I did like what that movie had to do and say, as well as Watcher. And lastly, I just recently saw this and I had a really fun time with it, was Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
Nice.
So none of those made my top 5, but they definitely were in my top 10.
I liked all the ideas behind Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. but like it was one of those movies. I'm watching this. I'm like, I'm so fucking old. Like, I don't understand. Like,
Well, that's when they had the whatever his name was, the older guy, the vet.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Yeah.
yeah, he's the guy I tried to relate to, but I'm like, why the fuck is he dating a girl 25 years younger than him? That's just weird.
Right. And then they kill him off. So they're like spoilers, but they the one character I can relate to, they kill off really quickly.
I just wanted someone there complaining about their taxes or something, or the price of gas.
Yeah, their health insurance.
I've been invited to, I can't say if I've ever been to a hurricane party, but just the fact that a hurricane party is portrayed on film made me very excited, because that is definitely something that I knew would to be a thing. Definitely never this fancy. I did not have these friends growing up. So our hurricane parties probably had some Boone's Farm. Mad Dog 2020.
There you go. Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah.
Hey, MD 2020 is a thing now. Like they sell it in cans. They're trying to jump on all that the fruited drink trend.
It's gonna rot you from the inside.
It will. I think I drank it once, but I didn't need to be drinking it just to like be funny. And then I was like, I will die. Like this is gonna give you the worst hangover. It's so toxic.
Have you guys been to any of those breweries that have those like fucking slushy IPAs and stuff like that, or slushy sours? Because it's essentially Boone's Farm. I'm like,
what?
you guys are basically drinking Bartles and James wine coolers and acting like they're a sophisticated drink. Fuck out of here.
B&J's fuzzy navels are really good.
Oh no, I'm not knocking that at all, but let's not pretend that shit is beer.
Yeah,
that's fair. But if you have an alcoholic slushy, I will order it and I'll just like suck that thing down like it's an icy and act like it has no alcohol in it.
Give me like a pina colada machine and I'm just like chugging it. I love pina colada. I love a cheap pina colada.
I have an image of Jason just drunk on his kitchen counter, just pouring a pina colada in his mouth.
Yeah, totally.
Just like shirt up to his nipples. It's not feeling well at all.
Chattanooga Film Fest. We got to rent a pina colada machine.
Oh my God.
We'll make this happen.
I will die. All right. My number 5 is The Menu. And this might be Regency. What do you call it?
Recency bias.
Recency. I can't talk tonight.
The Regency
It's
Hotel.
the last movie I saw in the theater, and I had an amazing time. And again, it's one of those: is it horror? Is it thriller? Who gives a shit? It was amazing.
That's the one that I regret not seeing yet. It's when it's really high on my list to see, and I haven't got a chance to yet.
Yeah, it was just from start to finish a blast, and that's when I have a good time. Interestingly, when I first did this list to send out, Nope was my number 5. And it just edged it out. I like Nope. I want to like Nope so much. I watched it 3 times because it's a marvel on many levels, but it just doesn't cohesively gel for me as a movie. Like, I think the first half's editing is just really off. I still can't put my finger on why like it just doesn't work all the way. But there's so many themes and scenes and bits and performances that I really like. It just doesn't come together all the way, but I respect the hell out of it.
It probably would be top 10. I didn't think about that one, but it reminds me of Crimes of the Future, the new Cronenberg film.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet.
So I had a bad experience with that.
So
I've heard it's not horror.
Right. I adore David Cronenberg, love Viggo Mortensen. And that's kind of what Nope was for me, was I love Jordan Peele. I love the character. I love the worlds he builds. I love the characters he writes, but the movie just didn't do it for me. And kind of the new Cronenberg was the same way. But again, I know like with all his movies, he layers so much stuff in there. And it's one of those movies that I'll definitely watch again. And I'm not shitting on it. I'm just saying it wasn't as good, obviously, as Get Out or as Us was.
Yeah, I agree too.
And he set that bar so damn high.
Crimes of the Future. So I often go to pre-screenings and like do like desk screenings and stuff.
Ooh, fancy.
Which means that often they're movies that don't have trailers out yet. So I know nothing about it going in, or I haven't read any reviews. So you go in like extremely cold. And that happened to be the day of the Uvalde shooting. And one of the very first scenes in that movie, a child dies. I was just like in a really bad headspace for that to happen. So like I have a weird knee-jerk reaction for that movie. Also, I wouldn't put it, I kind of put it in my bottom, but for Men, again, I saw it at a pre-screening. So again, I had no idea what I was in for. And that's a movie that really kind of punches you in the face.
I didn't
Better
like
for worse.
Men. I didn't like Men. I know a lot.
Yeah, I didn't like it either, but it did things.
It's not in my top 10,
But-
but you can read my review on bloodygoodhorror.com.
Yeah, that's
If
right.
you'd like, and fresh.
Yeah.
I would for anybody listening, I'd recommend if you're on the fence about Men, or if you watched it and kind of walked away from it going, read Whitney's review. It's
Read Whitney's review and do some weed.
No, your review is really great on that and spot on. Like it's kind of interesting because they're, like I'm not an idiot all the time when I watch these movies. I could definitely tell like this was a feminist movie written by a male using feminist like stereotypes, right?
Yeah. Well,
And,
just like I think a couple of us called it like feminism 101, like
Yes,
something
yes.
that if you made this a
Mhm.
decade ago would be mind blowing, but
was-
in 2022 it's like, look what I did. I
it's,
like women.
yes,
I'm on
it's-
your side. It's like
It's
I'm
the
an ally.
Fisher. It's
Yes,
the Fisher
yes.
Price. My first feminist
It's
porn movie.
it's the white
My
knight.
first feminism film.
Yeah. It's like the guy walking at a party going, I'm a feminist because it's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
But-
didn't love it for a
Yeah.
lot of reasons. And then I read your review. I'm like, oh yeah, all this makes sense. This is all stuff I picked up on that I'm just too dumb to verbalize.
And I will, and as my review states, I recommend watching the movie. I think it's a beautiful film. It's a visually stunning. It like the audio is amazing. There's deeper themes there that I guess if you want to dive into with like folk horror, but
Yeah.
yeah, I would like something different from, is that Alex Garland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like him to direct a film that's not starring a traumatized woman as the lead. I like something different from him in his next film.
So rounding out my honorable mentions, Prey, Bodies, 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 Deadstream are all great movies. I really like Glorious. It's just the fact that they took that premise. And again, it's one of those movies go in knowing as little as possible and just
Yeah.
like go for the ride.
I haven't seen it, but I've listened to a few podcasts on it now. So I just like, I don't know. I feel like it's one I have to wait a couple years to forget about.
Yeah.
Because I know some things.
I stop at rest stops all the time because I travel for work,
Mhm.
and I'm always looking for that hole now. Like, is this
Oh,
the
God.
universe?
Is there a cosmic creature in there? Who knows?
If you just carry hot dogs in your pocket, you can just push them.
God. I think Scary at 61st came out this year, and I was really, really high when I watched it. And I just kind of like just left a really funny impression on me. I don't know what the hell's going on in that movie or what it's supposed to be, but I found it really entertaining. I just giggle about it every time I think back.
Is that the
Where's-
one that's like,
But Jeffrey Epstein,
What?
Yeah.
and it's kind of like a Rosemary's Baby spoof.
Yeah.
I can't tell if it's
Yeah, that's
intentionally
pretty
hilarious or I just found it really funny because of my state of mind.
Oh, well, I know you found Jerry Epstein to be funny, Jason.
In the right context, maybe.
Is that Jeffrey's brother,
Jerry.
Jerry?
He didn't kill himself.
Oh my God.
Okay, let's move on to our number 4, Mondo.
I had a great joke earlier and I didn't get it out, but it's fine.
Oh, that's terrific podcasting.
Yeah, no. Well, Jason said it left a bad impression on him. I said, unlike Glorious, which just left a bad taste in his mouth.
Bump.
My number 4 was actually a movie I watched with our friends Joe Ferry and Jody on we just watched a lot of times on Fridays. We'll watch Joe Bob and then we'll stay up late and watch another movie. And we watched Fresh.
Mhm.
I absolutely adored that movie and thought it went to places I didn't expect. And I also thought the date at the beginning was one of the funniest things I've ever seen, because I imagine like for all of our like 7 single female listeners out there, I imagine we don't attract a whole lot of single females, but that's how I imagine that's how dating life is nowadays.
Hey, I'm a single female. It's
Is that how
awkward.
dating life is nowadays?
You know.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't need to go there.
I got a full review on that one on bloodygoodhorror.com, and there was just like a lot of like nodding of like, yep, that's been said to me. Yep.
Yeah.
I've experienced that.
And just the twists and turns that movie took and the way it went, I really, really, really loved Fresh.
Yeah. I love it. It's got a great dancing scene. Love a
Yes.
good horror movie
Mhm.
dancing
Mhm.
scene.
And some of the most grotesque imagery I've seen in a movie in a long time.
but
It
without
also
being
like makes me kind of hungry in an awkward way. It was like,
Yeah, it was-
I don't know when I eat.
it was
someone.
grotesque without being disgusting. Like you knew knowing what it is makes it grotesque, but if you didn't know what it was, you're like, oh, that looks kind of good.
Right.
Well,
But then
one
you're
of my
like,
favorite-
that's a boob. I don't know if I should think a boob looks good.
But once it's cooked, you're like, oh,
I know.
One of my
If
favorite
it's
foods.
ethically sourced.
Ethically sourced.
locally sourced.
We only use free range. We only
We
serve
only use
free range
free-range-
titties up in here.
Free range titties. That's the shirt.
Oh,
I
God.
imagine a farm now, just a bunch of boobs just bouncing around on the farm.
I just imagine a bunch of women without bras.
Cage free titties.
There's what's funny is the one thing I always see it makes me one of my favorite foods in the world is hamburgers. And whenever you see them grinding fresh beef in a movie, I'm like, yeah, that should we should make some tartare.
Oh, wait till you see the menu.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
there
so
you go.
I'm so
You're gonna get
excited.
real
Yeah, there's a
excited
good-
about the food
yeah.
there.
You're gonna like that. All right.
I'm
Give
very
us
much
the
awake.
four.
Hmm?
So,
My
Whitney,
number 4.
yeah.
Nope was my number 4. So I think we've briefly touched on it. I think I saw this twice in theaters, and I definitely think it benefited from a second watch for me, especially in theaters. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but there are some audio like things that happen when you watch it a second time and you are aware of what it is.
Let's put down the spoiler warning for everything we're going to talk about.
Okay.
It's
I mean,
the
we
end of the
did kind
year.
of
Fuck it.
spoil
Unless
Fresh.
one of us hasn't seen it, then
So we've all seen Nope.
Yeah.
The second time I watched this, the beginning where there's this screaming and you don't understand that it's people screaming, but then on the second viewing you understand it's people screaming. It's like bone chilling. There were times I definitely felt it was a little too long, but when I stop and I think about what would I wanted to be cut out, I just feel like I couldn't at the end of the day say what I wanted cut out. There was a very long thread in Slack where we talked all about it. And I just remember thinking the one thing I wanted to be maybe cut out because I didn't think it was that important was the whole story of the
Jordy.
The children's show with the monkey.
the children's show with the monkey and that guy's trauma and all that.
Yeah.
But then when I went in and thought about he's making a whole film about Hollywood at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And this is a part of Hollywood and the show business. And there was a lot, everything that he does is so intentional. That for me, when I think of my Jordan Peele ranking, I actually rank this second with Us being third because I felt Us was a little messy and had some strands that if you pulled a little too hard, it kind of all fell apart. So yeah, for
that's
me,
all fair.
this was really good.
I did read an article that the whole Jordy sequence was supposed to be even longer, but they cut that down.
I'm glad
There's
for
supposed
that.
to be a guy who was there to shoot up the place or something, and then that happened.
I do remember hearing that. I think we talked about that, and I'm glad. And I also love thinking about Natalie watching this without seeing the alien because she saw it early, but the CGI wasn't done. So all she saw was a square, and I just love thinking about her watching it. It's just a square.
I
wanted
referred
people
for that
to watch
one.
that so bad because she was just waiting for someone to watch Nope so she could talk about it.
And after watching, I thought too, a lot of the stuff with the monkey could be cut out. But at the end of the day, those are the scenes that actual scene where he's hiding under the table and the monkey comes and gives him the fist bump before they kill it. That's the part that's a main thing that's still stuck in my brain from that film.
But that's
that part
also
was
his whole motivation. He
Right.
thinks he can do that. He thinks he can fist bump. And that's when we were talking about it. That's when it began to click of oh, that is an important scene.
Yeah, I think I think it's in the editing. I don't think it's too long. I think there's got to be there has to have been a better way to insert those scenes to make it flow better because I feel like it was just really jerking me around in the movie, taking me out of it.
Was just maybe I was too high, but I didn't understand what even killed the father at the beginning until the second watch to understand why does he have a quarter? Oh, is that the coin his dad gave to him? And I'm no, that quarter killed him. That took I did not get that until the second watch because you just kind of don't understand what you're seeing.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I think all three of Jordan Peele's films are amazing. And if you haven't watched them, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I would 100%. I
Your life.
100% bet I'm gonna watch it a second time and be higher on it.
Yeah.
I know it. I just know I will.
All right. My number 4 is Mad God. Like I can't think of the. I think that's the most original thing I've seen in years, and I don't know what the hell's happening in it, but I loved every second of it.
Yeah.
I can't describe it at all, but like it's just. I
Gross.
think about it every day since I've watched it. It's been like 9 months or something.
That's one, and I've just had I watched the first like 20 minutes of it, and it just wasn't the right time for me to be watching that. And I turned it off and haven't gone back to it. Not that I don't want to. It's I need to make sure like that's a movie you have to watch, like no distractions. You have to be like just focused on it. And I haven't gotten a chance to really sit down and do that.
It's like a Eraserhead kind of thing where it's like,
Yeah,
the movie's just gonna fuck with you.
There are movies I've gotten 20 minutes into and been like, this is fucking terrible. And that wasn't one of them. It was more so like, this is not the right time for me to be watching this.
I felt very similar about that with a movie I watched recently called The Wolf House, where I did not know what the fuck was going on until I read into it and realized it was like a fake propaganda film for like this Chilean like culty thing, which is like
Weird.
all based on truth, but it's like supposed to be this cult propaganda film. And when I started reading it, I was like, oh, I have to go back and watch this with the context of like what I know now, because like watching it, I was just like, what is happening? Because it's like all an allegory. It's all metaphor. And I was just like, but Mad God, on the other hand, just means nothing. There's just like, nothing makes sense. Like it's just gross at the end of the day.
I think I can pull some meaning from it, but I think it's trying to be so obtuse that like, it's
almost not worth it.
No, definitely not worth it. I wouldn't say that. I think,
no, I'm saying like not worth it to try to really pull like a thread of like what the overall arcing story is, because it's just a visual.
It's a visual, but I think there's some overarching. I think there's some overarching themes, but nothing specific. It's not like, oh, this is supposed to mean that this means X, Y, and Z. It's more a vibe or
definitely a vibe.
Definitely a vibe. I do think there are some things. There's definitely some themes going on, but I think it's meant to be disorientating, and chaotic, which again is part of the theme. I think. Yeah,
you feel very uncomfortable watching it, but you can't look away. It was my number 2 last year, so it was very high up on my list. I'm excited for you to give it another chance, Mondo.
It's also like one of those.
Actually,
it's also one of those singular movies that will never be. I don't think anyone can ever make anything like that ever again.
No,
like that. The fact that it took so long and just the artistry put into it, it's like you're never going to see that kind of movie again.
Well, you get the Mad God Gulag that you can watch now every holiday.
So, okay, another one that I guess maybe should be an honorable mention. Have you guys seen the Yule Log yet by Adult Swim?
No, not yet.
No.
Don't. So holy shit, it was way more disturbing than I ever could have imagined.
Okay.
I highly recommend you guys watch it, because like I watched it and I was a little bit under the influence, and I was like, by the end I'm like, this buzz killed me. So I did not expect it to go places it did. So it's a pretty cool watch.
Mondo, give us your number 3.
Number 3. So man, my top 3, literally, if you ask me next week, they might change. But as of right now, my number 3 is Barbarian.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just one of those movies that everyone told me, you have to go in blind. You have to go in blind. I went in blind and I was like, fuck yeah.
Yes. Listeners, if you have not seen Barbarian, go in blind. Like, I don't even want to talk about that, even though we've played a spoiler warning.
If you haven't seen Barbarian, just pause it for like 10 minutes. Pause the show by 10 minutes.
It's streaming. Go watch it.
Yeah. My child watched it and comes over for Christmas and goes, "Oh, Dad, I like that movie, the Underground Mom movie." I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" The movie, the Underground. Oh, sorry, Barbarian. I was like, "Oh yeah," like what a great way to describe it. It was really good. I'm like, "Yeah, it's pretty good."
I like to say that my contribution to society is that the short time I was on a dating app this year, I got 2 men to watch Barbarian and 1 man to watch The Menu. So nice. That was my contribution to the horror world.
I hope that's like your measuring stick. Like if they don't talk to me again, it was never meant to be.
No, they all really liked it. I think they watched it because I told them that they should and would have a reason to come back and be like, I watched it.
I'm suddenly reminded of the Wayne's World, their mentality behind dating. If you spew and she hurls, it was never meant to be. But if you blow chunks and she comes back, it's forever. Something like that.
Yeah. All
I'll
right.
keep that in mind.
Yeah, just vomit on the first date and just see what happens. Like if they come back, fuck it, it's true love.
All right, Whitney, give us number 3.
My number 3, and my one, my 1 and my 3 and 2 were like flip-flopping. My 1, 2, and 3. This was like 1 for a while. These are all amazing movies when we're up here, but my number 3 is X. I did
yes.
prefer X to Pearl. I loved everything about it, down to that stupid little song Brittany Snow sings.
I love that.
I love that. I don't know why people hated that.
I know.
That's
I
such
don't
a
know
great
what, I was like,
maybe like in a theater, I would have been like, what the fuck's happening? But like watching that one at home, I was like, this is delightful.
that song always makes me tear up. It's just one of those instances.
And Brittany Snow has a beautiful voice.
Yeah.
And, I would believe that they would just get high and sing a song. Okay. Like I'm here for it.
they one of my favorite parts in that movie is when shit starts to go down and he's in the bar and he peeks through the people and gets his eye stabbed out, because somewhere I don't believe in heaven, but somewhere in the afterlife Lucio Fulci was like, let me see them eyes.
He's in the beyond, let's put it that way.
Yeah. Oh no, that's sad, Jason. That's real sad. Could we get a fucking a serial killer movie of Kid Cudi walk around just killing people with his dick?
Oh man. love
and
it.
I don't want him intentionally doing it. Like he just turns around too fast and like
smacks someone.
Yeah. Like he's at the gym just taking a piss and impales someone to the eye. Like
I feel like him and Varg from what was that movie?
Fuck, what was it? The Swedish movie?
Varg Vikernes?
Yeah. What is that movie?
The racist
Lords of Chaos.
Lords of Chaos, yeah.
Oh, dude,
I feel like he had a big wiener in that movie.
Can we do an episode of Lords of Chaos? Because I know like all the backstory on like all the real shit that happened in that. My favorite part of that whole movie is Varg Vikernes, who's a notorious racist, was played by a Jewish character.
Yes.
A Jewish man.
Just to piss him off.
Like I used to follow him on Twitter and I stopped following him because I didn't want someone to judge me for following him, because I would follow him just to talk. Well, just to talk shit to him.
I do look at who people follow and I'm like, bad choice.
No, I do the same.
You.
I do the same thing. Like I found like when I was early years of Twitter, we're following people because they were fighters and stuff like that. And they'll have a bad take. And I'm like, oh shit, I still unfollow.
All right. My number 3 is Fresh. Again, this movie just works on so many levels. And again, what mind boggles me that it's a rookie director. I can't remember. It's been so long.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, for someone.
Mimi Cave. And I think she wrote it. Mimi Cave. I believe she wrote it too.
Yeah, for that to be someone's first film, I was like, damn, that's really impressive.
Lauren Kahn wrote it, but she also does not have she worked on Step Brothers and the other guys. Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah.
So for that to be someone's rookie endeavor was really, really impressive. And I just give a lot of props for that.
She writes a short called HJ Gloves. I'm not going to guess what HJ stands for, but that's a weird name for a movie.
I'm excited to see. I hope Mimi Cave stays in horror. I hope all directors that do great first horror movies stay in horror. But yeah, Watcher also was a female director, like first, I think, full length. She had a segment she had the Ratma segment in VHS 94.
Oh, no way.
And
that was the best segment.
Like she is slated to do Fear Street 4. So I'm excited too. So she's another just like an up and coming female horror director, or just a director. She didn't have to do horror to keep an eye on. And
let's just say this was the year of Sebastian Stan. Between that and Pam and Tommy, he just had a major year.
I mean,
I
every year
didn't-
should be the year of Sebastian Stan, if we're being honest.
I didn't finish Pam and Tommy, but the
Oh,
scene
so
where he's in the
good.
bathroom talking to his penis is like a top 10 scene in the history of like fucking media.
Media. But yeah, that was just such a well done movie. It just
Well, he does a great job in that of at first like playing a tiny bit creepy. So we're thinking like, is he creepy or is he sincere? And then he just goes full blown. Like the reason why he's such a good villain is he thinks he's right.
right.
And that's like the best villains when they think that what they're doing is right, that they're the hero in the saga.
Right,
And that's
yeah.
Yeah,
and
and
he does a
there's-
really great job playing that.
There's so much showing and not telling in that movie. That just you just pick up on the things that aren't really so like the whole thing with the wife, you just kind of piece by piece kind of figure it out after a while. And,
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't spell everything out for you, and
Mhm.
you kind of get to think of your own backstories for how things come to be.
All right,
and I also love like the best friend in that movie. That's just totally
Yeah,
like
that was some good.
She's like my
Good
favorite
female
characters.
friendships.
Yes. When she's in the office, it goes, get that dick.
Yeah, I need to watch it 'cause that came out like early in the year.
Yeah,
It did, and I'm really glad to see it making Yale's top 5 because I was worried again. There's so much good horror this year, especially kind of at the back end, that it's like you kind of forget that even came out this year. Like I remember people being like, X can't be on your top 5. And you're like, X came out this year. It did not come out last year. Like,
I totally forgot it
been
came
a
out
long
this year.
year.
Yeah.
It's been a long 2022, y'all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, Mondo, give us number 2.
Number 2 is Terrifier 2.
Wow.
I love the character of Art the Clown.
Wow.
My problem with Terrifier 2 is the run length. Is that Damien Leone has such a great eye for some of these scenes that he doesn't want to cut anything. And I think if he had a really good editor that could just rein him in just a little bit and say, dude, like, I know this whole party scene is so beautifully shot, but we don't fucking need it. Like, let's cut out 10 minutes of that. Let's cut 10 minutes here. And I don't think they could have gotten that movie down like an hour and a half. I think they could have cut a good 20 minutes at least and gotten it 2 hours for sure.
30, 40 minutes. That movie is way too long.
Oh,
no
yeah,
slasher needs to be over 100 minutes is being generated.
I saw it in the theater and had such a good time watching it. And I said at 2 hours and 18 minutes, whatever, it's a fucking amazing movie. At an hour and 45, it's a masterpiece.
I would say that it's not in my top 10. I did not like Terrifier, but I definitely like Art the Clown as like a villain and a concept. I like what they did here. I like a lot of the visuals of him like playing patty cake with
those are my
himself.
favorites.
It's so fucking creepy. Like he's just fucking weird. But I think, and spoilery, I thought for me, I was like, oh, Art the Clown is this girl's father. And they never went there. And then I was like, okay, then you're not really doing anything with all this backstory.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I think they're saving a lot for the next one, and I'm like, I kind of don't like it when they do that because that just disservices this movie.
Right.
Yeah,
right. I agree. I agree with you 100%.
Your movie shouldn't be a filler for the trilogy.
Well, I don't think it was a filler, but I do think though they could have. Well, I do think some of that exposition could have been pulled back a lot. I really do.
I was just waiting for that reveal because
and I do think Art the Clown's
to come to make sense.
I do think Art the Clown's at the best is at his best when he's doing seemingly normal things just in a creepy manner. Like when he's at the
putting
Halloween
the sunglasses
store.
on.
Yes. So fucking creepy, right?
Fucking creepy.
And even in the first movie, the scene inside the pizza shop when he's taking a selfie, like holy shit, that's creepy. And also like the fact he goes to a laundromat at the beginning to clean his suit, like
right.
I love it so much.
That actor was in another film this year.
The mean one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, which Jason has seen.
Yep.
I have not seen that, but I remember hearing someone talk about it.
So Terrifier 2, like
y'all.
I'm super excited. The 4K Blu-rays in the mail. I'm excited to watch it. And Damien Leone even talks about how he reveals some of the stuff on there. And I think I like about Damien Leone, I'll say as a director, is you look on social media, he's very good at taking criticism and very good. He even kind of admitted that he should have wrapped more up in this movie. He should have given so what's funny, Whitney, your criticisms are one he's taken and been like, yeah, you're all right.
Well, here's the thing. I don't want to Sonic the Hedgehog him, like I don't want him to go to change who he is because of criticism on the internet, because you're never going to make people on the internet happy.
Sonic the Hedgehog was a good movie.
Sonic the Hedgehog was a good movie, and I'm glad they did change it. But I'm just saying, I don't want to make this man cry. I hope he has therapy if he's reading the comments. But I like the fact that Terrifier 2 got a theatrical release and fucking crushed it, because what that does is open the door for so many, hopefully more studios to take a chance on horror, because people aren't going to the movies these days. And there's 4 movies out right now at the Alamo Drafthouse. I could go see 4 movies, which to me is insane, because there's multiple theaters at the Alamo, but they're only showing Avatar and Black Panther and The Menu and Babylon, and that's it. And those movies are all fucking long, except The Menu. Babylon is 3.5 hours. I'm not going to sit in a movie theater for 3.5 hours.
One thing I think Terrifier 2 has done is that it shows that people will go see horror movies in October, whether they're horror fans or not.
Well, we talk about that all the time, right? We used to have Saw, we used to have Paranormal Activity. We don't have anything like that anymore. We need a horror movie. We should have a series that comes out in October, but not a series, because then they get poopy duty.
Well, I think though, you can take a character like Art the Clown and you can. I don't think every year, right? I don't think every year.
No.
But I think you bring Art back every few years. I truly think he's the next horror icon, like Jason or Freddy.
He already is.
And
he's
maybe not
fucking terrifying.
That's what to me. And I saw terrifying. I saw so many people dressed up as Art, and they all were having such a great time in their costumes. And that's the other thing. He's so creepy while having a good time. And the actor himself, David Howard Thornton, very active on social media, very, very left wing, which I really do appreciate. He talks half his Facebook page, him talking shit about certain people in politics, but also really also really good with his fans too. And my wife did an art piece for him, and he commented on her post and how much he loved it, and it just seems like a really genuine, nice guy, that just plays this amazing character. He's such a great physical character actor, and I'm a sucker for
be the next. What's the guy that played all this stuff in Guillermo del Toro movies? David Jones.
Doug Jones.
Doug Jones. Thank you. I got Davy Jones head stuck in my head, and I was like, it's not Davy Jones. It's not the monkeys, dude.
At least I couldn't remember the rapist's name. Whatever his name was. What? Jack Epstein, whatever the fuck his name is.
Jack Epstein. I love that Damien Leone is the director, right? Yes. He's not giving up on Art the Clown, right? That was in the short, that was in the movie. Well, he's
he mentioned
gonna be cool.
I think just in the past few days about how he went back and watched the original short he did, and he goes, I miss how terrifying it was, it had this dark vibe to it, and he wants to bring that back for the next Terrifier. So I think that's I 100% agree. He needs a better editor, and I love the movie enough to give it number 2 despite all of its flaws, because at the older I get, I said this before, at the end of the day, I don't really nitpick movies like I used to. I just want to I want to be happy at the end of the movie. If I have a smile on my face, I'm happy with the money I spent. It's a good movie. I don't give a fuck what it was. I liked Halloween Ends. I liked Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I probably shouldn't have, but because
I'll go to that for that one.
At Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all I remember is Leatherface killing a bunch of influencers of the chainsaw. As one guy going, "You're gonna get canceled for this."
Yeah. What more do you want?
And you make the movie for me, right? So I definitely am very lenient with my movies nowadays, but I think Terrifier 2 is going to be a movie that we look back on in 10 years as being this movie that kickstarted this independent horror not revival, because independent, I think it's funny because I'm being a huge metal fan. Whenever metal comes back into the mainstream, metal's people are finally playing metal again. No, it never went away. Same thing with horror. Horror is never going away. The passion of the people that make it is unreal. But I do think though we'll be talking about in 5 or 10 years how this revitalized major studios' interest in horror films. Because I guarantee you when he starts doing Terrifier 3, as much money as it made, he's going to have offers from studios to really do this movie. I just hope I really want him though to just stick to his guns and say, nah, I'll do it myself and then shop it to you guys when I'm done. But
yeah, because I mean, once you get studio involvement, you never know what's going to happen to the scenes. Like, I think there could be some like benefits to having some studio involvement, obviously, but also you want to make sure that it's like, editor, some money. Like, I mean, he's got his practical effects down. Like, everything looks good in that movie. I think it's just the matter of like, you know, cleaning it up around the edges but like, you know, here I am criticizing it and it did fucking gangbusters. So clearly it did have mainstream appeal to people who didn't know what the fuck they were getting into.
I also talk about too real fast, Lauren Lavera, his final girl and the main, the lead.
She was awesome.
She was fantastic in it.
Fantastic final girl.
Fantastic. And my God, like she played that role super well. And the one thing he did that a lot of slashers forget is I cared about her at the end. I cared about her and her brother. I wanted them to survive. Like it's rare. Like so many horror movies nowadays, I'm like, why is no one dead yet? In this one, I wanted her and her brother to survive because I actually cared about the characters, and that's hard to do. And she was fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, Whitney, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Barbarian, which we've talked about it. Ow, I almost hit my wall. We've talked about it enough.
Wait, you hit your what?
I hit the wall.
Oh, you hit your ball. I'm like, wait, what?
I'm flinging my hands around the area for this audio podcast. Barbarian, go watch it. Read my review on bloodygoodhorror.com, but only read it if you've seen the movie.
We didn't talk about it. I thought my favorite part in the whole movie. When he's
spoilers
one more time for 20 seconds when he's measuring the kill spaces.
Yes, that was
oh
so
my
funny.
God, that's like, okay, I'll say this, spoilers. I saw a trailer for this, put it down, boom, want to see this. It was out in theaters. I was like, let's go see it. I had no clue that Justin Long was actually in this fucking film. So when it cut like 40 minutes and was like, oh, now it's Justin Long driving down the PCH. I was like, I don't know what this movie is anymore. And I was that to me is the immediate like unsettling feeling of I have no fucking clue what's happening anymore. I also straight up thought that she was like a vampire at the beginning because he like invited her in and they made this whole thing about her walking through. And I was like, is this a vampire movie? Like I was just like
that would have been a twist.
So off. But one thing I'll say is you were talking earlier about Sebastian Stan being like kind of creepy, but like aware of himself. That's also what I feel like Bill Skarsgård's character had going on, because I can see the awareness of like being aware of your actions and being like, look, I understand that you're not going to drink my tea because I made it. And so I didn't open up the wine bottle. And it's like, I don't know if he's creepy or if he's just being like aware that women are fucking terrified of men just in general.
When I travel for work, I walk a lot. So if I notice like a woman walking in front of me, if I'm walking and she's walking faster, I'll cross the street intentionally.
Yes, just be aware of your surroundings.
Well, but I had this weird situation when I was in Sierra Vista, Arizona, where we both happened to be walking back to the same hotel. and then so she got in the elevator first, so I just stood there. I'm like, I'll just get the next one. She goes, there's room in here. I'm like, oh fuck. So I walk inside and we go to the same floor. And I'm falling behind her back. I said, miss, I said, I'm so sorry. I said, my room is over there. I said, if you want, I said, I'll wait for you to go to your room before I go to mine. She goes, it's okay. I said, no, I get it. Like, you tell me what makes you feel safe, please. And then she started laughing. But I was almost worried. Like, I was like, am I going over the top here? But I can tell she's uncomfortable. I don't want her to be because all I want to do is go to bed.
Right.
I think it's just that awareness of like, is he bad? Is he not? And that was just well written and so tense. And then there's Justin Long and you're like, what the fuck is this movie doing? And it got me really nervous at the beginning or watching it because a spoiler. If you haven't seen this, go watch it, skip forward like a minute. I was really worried they were going to try to give him a redemption arc at the end. And I was just like, that person that was audibly talking in the mirror when he was like, I'm not a bad guy. And I was like, yeah, you are. Like, I was just like, I don't fucking care if people in this audience hear me. Like, you are a fucking bad person.
What I like about it,
they did not, but I was worried because it said it's a male director, like that's done a lot of comedy stuff. Not saying that comedy directors don't read the room, but I was just like worried they were gonna play it off, not make it serious, make it like, just say sorry and it'll be all go away. But they handled it really, really well.
When I thought for 1 second during the redemption arc, I literally said, God damn it.
I know.
because but then I love the fact that like he was so upset only because this person was actually worse than he was. Like
and he was
Right.
like
yeah, he's a terrible human being. Yes.
her at the end. And so like he deserved to be ripped in half.
and again, as a good heel, as a good villain, he 100% tried to justify all the shit he did.
Right.
He tried to act like he was a good guy. He was trying to talk himself into being like, oh, I'm not the bad guy.
Right. That's where I was getting upset, because I was like, they're not going down with this like fucking narrative that they're going to try to make him be like, well, I'm not a bad person. I did. And it's like, no, he like straight up admitted it. We heard him admit it. And then we watch him gaslight, and it's just like, okay, there's definitely no way that they're making him redemption. They're just like showing how much of a fucking asshole and how self-aware he is.
And also the end of the movie is actually kind of sad, because even though like the evil like creature got killed, it didn't know
she's not evil.
Wrong. No, she's not.
She's not evil.
She's doing what she knows, which is the shit she's been through.
She's a victim of her circumstances.
Well, she was afraid of that old man still. She could go in there and just strangle him and kill him, but she was still afraid because of what she's been through. And the fact that she had to die at the end is tragic, because it's none of her fault. None of that is her fault.
None of that's her fault. And the main actress, what sets her apart from Justin Long's character is empathy.
Well, she could have easily just left, right?
All she wants is to like take care of a baby, because that is all she knows.
Yes,
is nurturing and like pain.
And even the main character, I forgot her name. She could have just left, right? She could have just gone home. When she was at that gas station, she could have hitchhiked, got a ride home, and fucking out of there. But she went back to try to save Justin Long character, because that's just her nature as a good human being. And God, that movie is good.
Yeah,
maybe to bump this up a little bit.
Start over. We're gonna do the whole show over.
We do the whole show again, Jason. Let's cut this one.
All right, I'm done.
All right. My number 2 is Pearl. Again, this is another one that I saw at a sneak preview. So I'd seen X. I knew Pearl was a thing, but I hadn't seen the trailer, so I had no idea what this movie would look like. Because it's such a visually, it's kind of like a mirror image of X in many ways. So I was like, how are they going to do this? What's it going to look like? So seeing it in the theater without having seen any footage was a really cool experience.
That's cool.
But also, I challenge anyone to think of a better prequel, like to any movie ever. Like it's
like I say, it was my honorable mention, but that's by no means a bad place to be. Like there's so much good horror that came out this year.
Right.
And I love the fact that Pearl and X are such different films.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're all filmed at the same time, and it'd be so easy to write the same script three times, and they didn't do that.
Right. And whenever we watch a prequel, we're like, what are we doing here? Why is this a thing? And this is like the most justified prequel like I can think of. I can't think of any prequel that like lives up to the idea of a prequel than this does.
I'm really excited to see what they do with
Maxine.
Yeah. Because I hope they go in that whole direction of like it's like 80s, 90s, like
80s.
VHS neon era. And I hope they go fully there, and that these are just 3 completely different films that all come together. Mia Goth is an amazing actress.
Oh, she is for sure.
Well, that's the other thing. I usually don't like her very much. I don't know. I can never figure out what it is. Something about her I don't love. Like I don't like Maxine as the character as much, but Mia Goth in this was like hypnotizing. Like it was like magnetic. Like it was just so, I don't know, such an amazing performance.
Yeah, she's gonna be in that new Cronenberg film, and I'm real hyped for it. Brandon Cronenberg, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't say Cronenberg anymore.
What was Brandon's first film? But it was like body horror. People were like surprised. I'm like, why are you surprised?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure his dad let him watch like Videodrome when he was 6.
Antiviral. I
Antiviral,
watched that.
But real quick, I love Dax. I should have put it in my honorable mentions, but I like the characters in X more than I like the movie X. Like I would just go with those characters and watch them. Like I want to see more of those characters. once the twist happens and it turns into like kind of a slasher movie, I was a little turned off by it.
The one part of Pearl that really kind of bummed me out was when she works so hard and she wants to be a dancer, and they just dismiss her. Like, they don't even like. I was like, oh, I felt so bad for her in that moment. I knew, and that's the point where I knew what was going to happen the rest of the movie, which I'm okay with. I'm never upset when like I know it's going to happen, but it makes sense. That's totally fine. But I felt so like, and I felt gutted for her. Like, oh, all she wanted to do is be a dancer.
I just want to dance the ballad. But no, I mean, I liked X a lot. I liked a lot of things it was influencing, but I just didn't think the ending was as good as the first half. Like, again, I would just watch a movie with those characters just going off making a porn and just living happy lives. Like, that's the movie.
I just want to watch their porn.
Well, but yeah,
Pearl, special features.
But Pearl, yeah, I mean, on many levels, you can't see
anything because Kid Cudi's dick is like taking up half the scene.
It just breaks the camera. Just breaks the frame.
If you get like that infamous like straight view shots, like the glass just shatters. All you
like in Jaws 3D,
where it goes
through the glass.
Far, but it like it's his dick and breaks the lens.
But yeah, Pearl, again, Pearl just leaves you with that last shot. On Pearl is just like iconic already, like
very much iconic.
So yeah, Pearl.
Heck right, yeah, Ty West.
Yeah. All right, Mando, give us your number one.
My number one is X. X was just one of those movies that satisfied me on every level. Yeah, Jason. on every level. Yeah, love the characters, love the story. The start of the story is so Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes.
And I really kind of enjoy that. And that they made you actually give a shit about these characters and actually built these characters' personalities. And so many slasher films or whatever forget to do that you have to care about the characters. If they're gonna, you have two ways to go with a slasher film. Everyone just dies and you root for the killer, or you have to actually care about the characters. And I did care about the characters in this. I also
even the secondary characters, which typically even in a slasher, it's like, okay, yeah, we care about the final girl, but we don't care about the other people that get like. I felt I could see Jenny Ortega's side of the situation. And I could also see her boyfriend's side of the situation when he was crying in the shower. And you're just like, I feel for both of these people, but like, don't be a little brat about it. Like, get over it.
They're both human beings with like real human reactions to the situation. And you can relate to either one. And then when the shit just hits the fan in that movie, it's just so satisfying. And the way it's shot, it feels like a legit, like late 70s, early 80s horror film. And one thing Ty West has always done really well is capture those eras, and he plays with the sounds really, really well. And maybe I'm biased, but this is one of the first movies I saw back in the theater. I think I saw The Northman before this, but or maybe it's vice versa. But I saw X in the theater. It just blew me. Did Northman come out this year?
Yep. Yeah. I didn't count that as a horror movie, though.
Not horror.
Yeah, but it did come out this year.
Definitely one of the best movies I've seen all year. And you also, the first time ever, get to see what's his name, old confusing genital guy.
Willem Dafoe.
You see his cock. That's his real cock apparently in that movie.
The extended version of the adult film is a special release on the home media release. Like The Farmer's Daughter is on Letterboxd.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I can talk a lot about X because I think it was a superly satisfying horror movie. And when I finished watching it, like it hit all those levels for me, everything I wanted of a horror film. And when I watched Pearl, and granted, this is not a knock on Pearl because my top 10, all I thought was like, fuck, X was so good. I want to watch X again. But that's what a prequel should do, right? So my number one for the year, everybody, go watch X if you have not watched X. But that's also a movie I did not watch with my child, so I'm pretty happy about that.
That's good.
I was Maxine for Halloween, so also marketing, y'all should go watch X.
You had a great Maxine, but I still prefer your Leech Woman.
I mean, I don't know. I could not,
the Jello
better than
just did it.
The Leech Woman.
You'd have done better if you'd invited him bigger into your house and killed him with an axe in the middle of it.
Who says I didn't?
Well, you didn't film it, so.
I saw the best costume ever as a season of Screamings, and these twin girls, one dressed up as Maxine, the other one dressed up as young Pearl.
That's super cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
I wanted to take a picture,
Wait,
but
when you say girls, like how old?
No, they were probably in their 20s.
Okay, all right. I'm like, who's trusting their
Sorry,
child who's like
old man talk.
Maxine and Pearl? No, but I'm concerned. You know how parents dress their kids up as like Beetlejuice
No.
and stuff. But I'm like, wait, whose parent is dressing their kid up as Maxine?
I'm a terrible judge of age, but they were definitely like in their 20s.
Okay, as long as they're over 18.
I did love about X2 is it's actually kind of brave to have two old people having sex on screen.
Well, they're not
Well,
old.
especially-
I know they're not
That's the
old, but,
big
but what I mean
complaint.
is their makeup is
Okay,
being old.
Mondo,
Because
my dad's name is Howard.
what does that have to do with anything?
Oh, Howard.
You never saw your dad. You never watched any of your parents having sex, Jason?
I'm not going there.
That's a yes.
That's a yes.
That's a hard yes. Not even
That's a
flaccid
hard.
yes.
I walked in and I'm scarred for life and go to therapy every
No.
day. All right, my number one film.
I never did, for the record.
Okay, Whitney, you're not.
My parents had a loveless marriage. They weren't even married. They had a loveless like partnership, and they fought all the time over drugs.
All right.
All right,
While
Whitney,
we're
please.
unpacking Mondo's trauma, my top horror of the year is The Menu. I also saw this twice in theaters. I like to be a bougie bitch sometimes. I like me a Michelin star meal. I try to do like one a year if I can get away with it. I don't know if I have seen a perfect horror movie since 2019, 2018, like Hereditary. I don't know what I did. I don't know what came out in 2019. I don't have a list on
Midsommar?
Letterboxd. That was not the perfect horror movie for me. So,
Well, I would say that I love Midsommar, but I would say Hereditary was like, holy fuck.
yeah. So like, you know, for me, Barbarian is definitely the scariest movie I've seen this year. But as far as like the best movie I've seen this year that has horror, it's got to be The Menu. Every scene is so perfectly acted and shot, and there's just like a lot of my theater watching this. We got one of those like early screenings, so I saw it like a week early. So theater was packed full of people that were like specifically wanting to see this film because it's
That's
not just
cool.
like it's
Yeah,
out
that's
now.
awesome.
Like we're all going to see this early. And you know, it's a San Francisco screening. So it was very much like, you are these fucking people,
Mhm.
or like very close to being these fucking people. And the audible laughter and gasping, it just made for such a fun experience.
That's cool.
And I just remember there was one scene where they did the Men's Folly
Oh yeah.
dish. And before I read the name of the dish or what it was called, I was reading the ingredients and I was like, ooh, I would eat that. And then I realized what it was and what it looked like. And I was like, damn it, like, why did I say that? Like, because it basically just looks like cum. And I was just like, yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, and then
Are you watching the Cabinet of Curiosities by Guillermo del Toro?
I am. I haven't fully finished it. And I have a lot of I have y'all's episodes.
Have you watched The Outsider? Or what was the one we watched today?
yeah,
Jason?
at the outside, the one with the lotion.
Yeah, because there's a lot of
Yes.
there's a lot of white
Yeah.
creamy substance in that movie. In
That
episode.
one was interesting. I haven't been like blown away by any of them yet.
Really?
Yeah.
This is how I know that we're just old farts, because we're just like, yeah, that was amazing. Like,
No,
give me-
they were all
give me
good. Like they're
tentacles.
all like 6 and 7 and like all good. Like the best things I've seen for horror shorts. But like I haven't been like, that's amazing. But again, I've only seen like 4.
Yeah.
So I haven't gotten to
That's where
like,
we're at too.
the
Back-
Yorgos Lanthimos one or whatever. I think
Yeah.
he did one. I haven't got to that yet. So
But I want to go back to The Menu though. The acting is just probably some of the best performances of the year. Like Anya Taylor-Joy's always brings it, and was it Ralph Fiennes?
Ray Fiennes,
Ray Fiennes. He's
Nicholas
just-
Holt, like,
Yeah.
oh,
I love it when the actor can play a total douche, but you still find them like you're still captivated.
See, and I'm
Ugh.
bummed because I don't watch a ton of trailers. I watched this trailer and I'm like, fuck, I'm in. And then Whitney, you're the first one I know that watched it, and you're talking about how great it was. I'm so bummed that I haven't seen it yet, because I know like I'm gonna watch it. Well, next week I'll be in Virginia for work, and my goal is to watch The Menu. And I'm probably like, God damn it, that should have been on my top 5 or top 10.
Well, what's interesting is I was like worried that I would be like a minority in loving it because it is kind of niche in what it's making fun of. Like, as someone who has gone to some of these meals, like,
yeah, but
not like that.
Well, I think we can, even if we're not into that foodie world, I think we all know someone who's posting pictures on Instagram all the time.
Yeah.
Of like this like super fancy meal they're having, and you're like, fuck off.
So
God,
like
there's a line in it when he's like, what college did you go to? And he's like, Brown. And she's like, Brown. And he's like, student loans. And she goes, no. And he's like, you're dying.
Yeah.
you know how much in my industry people ask me what college you go to. I'm like, I didn't, and they're like, what? I'm like, I'm sorry, and I feel like
well, then
inadequate.
you'd survive. So
I'm just saying though, like I feel inadequate when people say that. It's like, is it okay that I have the same job you do, but I didn't go to college? I don't know. Is that okay?
I think it's better. It means you're fucking better, and you didn't waste your time learning shit that doesn't matter. It's like, okay,
ask them how much interest they paid.
Yeah, it's like.
No, my favorite moment on our entire podcast is when I blew Jason and Jody's minds by the fact that I'm really into Shakespeare and know a lot about Shakespeare.
Mine's blown too.
You must have skipped that episode.
Look, I listened to a lot of episodes, just like binging that shit. I can't remember everything y'all do.
I get it.
All right.
But The Menu is really, really high on my list of fun stuff to see.
Well,
and
I
also,
can't wait for you to see it and let me know what you think.
And also, the one thing I regret, I totally forgot, is when I go back to San Francisco, I need to remember what restaurant we went to. We went to that Argentinian place. Peruvian chicken, limon. Holy shit, was that some good food? Yeah. But not as good as Ghost Town Brewing. That is like my favorite place in.
That's not food.
They have food. I don't give a shit. It's beer. It's great beer. I bought a long sleeve shirt and it fits great. It makes me comfy. It makes me happy.
I'm gonna go back to Ghost Town. I really liked that vibe.
We'll probably be out there again sometime this year. There's some concerts that I want to go see that aren't coming to Vegas, and I want an excuse to go to. I've hit you up every time I've been out there.
Let's go.
So I'll hit you up again. And then we went to some bar that Whitney likes, and she knows a bartender. We ate some good food, and then I took an $80 Uber ride back to the airport. I couldn't figure out the bar schedule on my phone.
Wow, that's very expensive.
Dude, my Uber driver was high as fuck.
Oh god, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
That's a horror movie.
That's Oakland for you, though.
I was drunk as fuck, so it worked out just fine. Like, he got me there safe.
Probably drives better high than he does not high. I'm guessing.
That's a Bay Area for you.
Yeah. All right, my number one, and this is not anything too exciting, is Barbarian.
Dude, like it's so like good. Barbarian to me. Like, again, my top 3 movies are all ones that it's hard
interchangeable.
Yeah,
I think what really pushes over the edge is some, a lot of watching a movie is about expectations.
Does it push it over the top like Sliced Alone? You put your hat back. Never mind. All right, sorry.
Anyways,
yeah,
so it's
such a thank you. At least Whitney laughed. I don't know if she understands the reference, but
I'm laughing because I don't know what's happening.
I don't know what's happening either.
No, it's pushed over the top with Sliced Alone when he's an arm wrestler. Have you guys never seen this?
Oh, okay, I remember it now.
No,
Terry Funk is in the movie, the Funker, and he's like, I put my hat backwards like a light switch, and I'm in the mood. And I put my hat backwards. No, okay, never mind.
Anyways,
you guys should watch it over the top. It's fucking stupid, but so good. They made a movie about arm wrestling in the 80s. I'm like, let's just make a movie about arm wrestling.
God.
Okay.
Sly.
Jason.
This is why I just like go quiet and let like my kids just like talk themselves out. I'm just like, okay, I'm just waiting for them to be done saying what they have to say, and then I'll say my piece.
To be fair, I haven't made Jason turn red yet this episode, so we're still pretty good.
There we go. Anyways, so when I saw it was kind of like at the height of the hype for the movie. So like my expectations were really high going into it, and it my enjoyment exceeded those expectations.
That's cool.
That's the mark of a really good movie. So it's kind of like The Dark Knight. That movie was so hyped, and it's still the experience still like was better. My enjoyment still exceeded. And that's the mark of a really good movie.
Yeah,
and it's really hyped, really talked up. And again, I went in cold as like everyone else, and I had a blast. I was laughing. I was scared shitless. I was, I was. I laughed. I hurled. I cried.
Dude, again, like the measuring the house to me is like the
Oh,
best part of the
so
whole
fucking
movie.
funny.
But when he calls his mom, he goes, "Oh, sorry, gotta go."
He's such an asshole. He is in the city and he's like telling his mom that, oh, I gotta come visit sometime. And you're like, you're such a dick.
Especially like living, I don't know if it's an LA thing, but like that type of person just is so LA to me.
There's a reason I don't live in LA anymore.
There's a reason I'm not from LA.
Yeah. I mean, no one's really from LA.
But like on the serious note, though, when you talked about reading The Room, it's a movie that like reads The Room perfectly because there's so many scenes that could have gone in ways you're like, oh no, because it's a movie about sexual assault.
Yeah.
But they never actually show any, and like thank God because they don't need to. You've already said plot wise, thematically, you've already done the work. You've already told the audience what they need to know. You don't need to put them through anything.
Well,
yeah.
I totally forgot about this part, but one of the most terrifying scenes in that movie is when she wakes up because her door gets opened.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
And she blames him, and he's fucking obviously dead asleep on the couch.
He's having a night terror, and I'm like,
what I mean,
yo, I relate to that. Like,
yeah,
she scares the fuck out of him. And she's like, you were yelling in your sleep, and he's like, well, I'm fucking sleeping. Get out of here.
Completely off topic, but a bunch of the BGHs were my dream last night. It was kind of fucking weird. We all did a bunch of shrooms, and I could somehow see colors, which is amazing because I'm ready.
I've done that once. Where I could see colors because that was so high.
Yeah,
it's also never mind.
It was very cool.
I'm about to go way off topic, but I also had an idea to where if someone has you in full guard jiu-jitsu, you could turn to a pro wrestling Boston Crab and submit them, and that worked in my dream. I tried it tonight, did not work. But
what the fuck is he talking about?
I don't know
do you know what Boston Crab is? It's a submission hold. Whatever.
No, I'm not a wrestler and I'm not arm wrestling.
No, but it was crazy. In my dream, I could see vivid green and red, which I can't see in regular life. And I don't know if I was right or not. Maybe I'm wrong. What I saw. It's just weird.
What color is your shirt?
Red. I can tell it's red, but I know it's red. If I can't tell like red and green if they're by next to each other.
So Freddy Krueger just looks like what?
A black and red, actually.
What color is this wrapping paper? This
Fuck,
is great content.
I can tell fucking red is bright ass red. I can tell that shit.
All right.
Let's just make fun of my disability before we end this
episode.
I know.
Let's not go down there.
What does the ADA Act say about people making fun of you about your disabilities?
If you're on the podcast, it doesn't matter.
All right, before we get ourselves
I'm
sued by DDA.
I'm gonna find old episodes and make it sound like all Jason was doing the whole episode is talking shit about colorblind people.
Anyways, I can honestly say
him in his red Floyd shirt. I can't tell between pink and red.
Oh my god. Wow.
You said it was gonna go off the rails. And we just wanted to make sure we did.
Anyways,
I'm pretty sure Jason talks to his therapist about this podcast. I try to reel them in, but they just don't want to listen. I can't believe no one said Halloween ends as their
okay.
But I love Jason's background because I'm already look at it is that Michael Myers has his teeth on that guy's leather jacket.
Yeah, he's like teething on his jacket.
He's like gumming his jacket.
He's got an oral fixation. He's got to put it in his mouth.
Which just give me your jacket.
I'm cold.
Oh, God, that was a good movie. I stand by the fact that was.
Oh boy.
It was a movie.
It was a movie. Yeah, I think this was a great year. I don't know whether there was like a backlog of COVID movies that they all kind of dumped out this year, but no, it's a great year for movies.
All right, so I have more questions now that we're in the year. Very important questions. I have an important question for Whitney. Whitney, what's your game of the year? What's the favorite game you play?
Ooh.
Being in the game industry.
I mean, off the top of my head, one of the best games I played this year was Beacon Pines.
Okay, I'm so glad you said that because I couldn't remember the name of it. I was going to say that because I loved you posted about it. I played it I spent like a whole Saturday just I finished the gym,
short,
sweaty in my office playing that game. I can't stop playing. I had to see what happens next.
It's not the hardest game. It's not even the hardest.
Oh no, it's easy
a
as
little
fuck.
bit of
'cause
a
I played it.
walking simulator game. You know, you do some things, but I was just so invested, and I loved it. It was so fun. I've also been a big fan of Dreamlight Valley, which is the Disney like Animal Crossing Stardew style game. That's been, curing my depression. And
my favorite part about Animal
keeping me
Crossing
alive.
tournaments are my favorite part in the world. And there's a friend of mine at the time was trying to get into cryptocurrency and stocks and ask me questions. And I was like, dude, I'm not going to help because why? I said, because you fucking freak the fuck out when you cancel your turnips. I'm not going to help you get into real money like transactions.
Right.
You can't handle the turnip market.
There's
in
no
Animal Crossing.
turnip. There's no turnips in Dreamlight Valley. You can move anything whenever you want. You don't have to wait multiple days. Like you don't have debt. It's great. It takes all the bad things about Stardew and Animal Crossing and makes them better.
Oh, I love Stardew too, but it's obviously not this year. It didn't come out this year.
No, the game came out forever ago.
And it's still one of 2 games I own on my Switch. So.
I'm trying to think of what else came out this year that I played.
Oh, we'll take that for your number one.
Yeah, Beacon
That's
Pines.
awesome. Oh, my other one is Did Fallout 6 come out this year? Or was that last year? That was last year. Came out December, I think.
6
With Chorizo, the dog.
Fallout 6.
Oh,
you mean Far Cry?
It's like Fallout 6.
Hey, look, man,
I
I just smashed this fucking like 8% beer. So I'm not feeling
Far Cry
great.
6 came out last year.
Okay, last year.
Yeah, I had an interesting gaming year because somebody was amazing and sent me their PS4.
Who did that?
So I caught up on within like 6 months.
You've been playing all the good games.
I know. So like I got spoiled because within like 6 months I played Spider-Man, God of War, and Red Dead Redemption 2.
Like literally like the 3 game of the years in a row or
yeah,
something.
exactly.
Like
So I've been spoiled, but probably my favorite new game is Vampire Survivor.
oh,
So
I just
good.
Vampire
bought that on
Survivor
Steam.
fucks.
Well,
That game is
what?
awesome. That game
Yeah.
fucks.
All right. I have to. Okay.
But now that's on
Gives me
Android.
anxiety.
No, now it's on Android and I can like fully like kick ass in it. It's so much better.
Oh.
That's cool.
It came to Xbox and I was like, there goes my life. Like I don't have to sit on my computer playing this. I will buy that game on every platform it ever comes out on.
I downloaded that new game. It's on Xbox. It's done by the guys. I don't like. I don't hate Rick and Morty. The fan base
High
is
on
very
Life.
problematic.
That looks fun.
I've been playing it and I've had a good time.
Okay, cool.
I've been having fun. It's
right.
it's a lot. Like when I have like slightly a headache, which I get a headache with a lot of first person shooters, but I have these like wristbands that like supposed to help me not get like motion sickness. It's so nerdy, but it's working. It's a lot. But it makes me laugh. It's so stupid and it's fun. Like I like it looks good. It's pretty linear overall. Like it's not this like you can go and explore things, but it's not like a crazy open world that like you'll get lost and can't, focus on the game. But
I appreciate that.
Whitney, do you stream anymore? Because I would totally watch you play that game.
No, I don't.
You should Twitch just for that.
Just get high and play high on life.
Yes, I would get high and watch you play. Watch you get high and want to play high on life.
The issue with that get high, when I used to be high and streaming, I would like forget to click the scene. So it would just be my face. And I'm like, people are like, Whitney, change the scene. And I'm just like, did y'all see that? And they're like, no, you fucking idiot. Like you don't even know what you're doing. That game's fun.
Yeah, I've been watching. I've been watching some videos of people playing it. It looks really cool.
Yeah, Xbox Game Pass. That's my game of the year. That fucking game.
Xbox Game Pass is like they told Sony, "Hold my beer." Like,
oh my God, seriously.
All right, last question. I have you guys. We're doing end of year music. What album gripped you this year?
Oh God,
is that an album? Is that a new one? Oh God.
Oh God, I gotta open my.
I'm trying to think what new music I listened to this year.
New music.
Like music that came out this year, or just music that we discovered?
Just give me something you discovered this year. I don't care if it came out this year.
I discovered this some really good lo-fi.
Is that the Chill Tendo record you just posted?
I did just
Because
get
that
my
looks
Chill
cool.
Tendo
I'm debating
record.
going and picking that up.
That shit's real good. I listened to that while I was baking cookies. I'm big into lo-fi, and I've gotten some pretty sick albums. There's a guy named Mick who I was sent, and he's got some originals, but he's also got a Star Wars main theme lo-fi. He's also got like a 5-track Ghibli one.
Whitney,
So,
can you send me that Star Wars one? I want to listen to that.
yeah, that one, when it comes on, I'm like, this sounds familiar, and I'm like, it's fucking Star Wars lo-fi. I just like lo-fi. It's so calming. Like,
No, it's actually, when you post some of that stuff, I try to check it out because it's nice music to work to.
it's very, because if I can get to a point where I'm like just looking at songs, I'm like, I don't like this one, I don't like this one, I don't like and I'm not working. So I
tend to like want to listen to music from bands that are new to me or bands I really listen to. I want to like focus on the record, and I can't do that while I'm working because I'll sit there and be like, oh fuck, like I missed this riff, sounds really cool, I need to rewind.
Right, or I want to go like it and then be like, so I can hear it again, and then it's like, well, now I'm not doing what I should be doing.
I buy all this shit on vinyl. I'm an idiot, but it's fine. What you got, Jason?
There isn't much new. I mean,
How do you think about what do you think about the new Metallica song?
It's kind of,
Dude, can they fucking like dude, I'm pretty sure Lars Lane playing drums is all programmed. I don't think he's actually playing. It sounds like programmed drums.
yeah, I'm really hoping their album. I have faith that their album will kick ass just because it's Metallica and they do that.
I mean, that they didn't from like 91 2010 Hardwired came
I
out.
can find something I like on every one of their albums.
You can find something they like. Would you call it a good album start to finish?
Well, no.
Okay.
I think the last one, if they cut it down to one CD instead of the 2 CDs, there definitely could be a classic album almost in there.
Oh yeah.
I thought there's just too much filler. Hardwired. Yeah, like Spit Out the Bone.
Spit Out the Bone's a fucking banger.
Yeah, that and Hail on Fire are amazing songs. And there's some other smaller ones. But yeah, if they condensed and just made those the big ones, I think it would have been a much better album. I did recently listen to this band called Polyphia, Polyphia, and they're kind of prog rock guitar, and it's kind of jazzy, almost jazz prog guitar, kind of thing. I've been jamming to that a little bit, but I mean, I've reached the age where not much new music really interests me in general. I just rather listen to podcasts most of the time. Like, and if the only time I listen to music is from like doing dishes or like, I want something really upbeat to get me going. And then I just go to like my standbys. So, but pretty much all the music, Mando, you introduced me to through your Song of the Weeks. I usually listen to it.
I appreciate that, man. I really do.
Yeah. I usually find those very interesting.
It's funny is the band I picked for last Saturday actually posted, not our podcast, I posted that song as their song to listen to on Christmas. I was like, yay, fucking
yeah.
Mando,
what about you?
All right. God damn it. So Zeal and Ardor releasing the record this year. If you haven't heard Zeal and Ardor, you might
Zeal and Ardor, like what are you saying?
Zeal and Ardor.
I don't know, dude. I'm pretty drunk.
I'm like trying to understand what you're saying.
I went to the
Zeal
gym.
and Ardor.
I went to the gym and lost all my body sweat, and then came here, ate a banana, and drank beer for the past couple hours. So I am not great.
Zeal
and Ardor.
Ardor. Okay.
Ardor.
So the story behind the band is it's kind of it's fucked up, like the reason why the guy started the band, but he's a great musician. He would post on Reddit like just tell me 2 genres to mash up, and he's a black guy, and the guy said make metal but make it, and he dropped the N-word, and the dude goes okay, and started making music with very, very like soul, old school, like soul, old school blues, old school. Like his mentality was like, when the slaves came to America, they discovered blues. What if they discovered metal instead?
Oh.
and that's what he makes,
Uh,
and it's fucking killer.
But also, like every song sounds very different, which I think is
Yes,
really
and
cool.
the new record is fantastic. He
Mhm.
did an EP like right after the George Floyd killing. That was just fucking right in the feels. It is very, very difficult to listen to because of how it's called basically I Can't Breathe. But the guy, another phenomenal record. Like the first record, my dog is peeing on the floor next to me, by the way, because she's being a bitch. Abby, what the fuck? Okay. God damn it. She literally came in my office, looked at me, and then pissed in the. She's 15. She knows better. But yeah.
She knows better, but she can't hold it any better.
But no, she knows better. She's a dick. I love her to death. I would die for this dog, but she's an asshole. But Zeal and Ardor did self-titled this year. It was fantastic. A band called White Ward. God, I forgot the name of the new record, but that came out this year, and that's one of those a genuinely terrifying record. It just sounds it's unsettling when you listen to it. And they're from they're a Ukrainian band that came out this year. I thought was phenomenal. A band called Spider God from the UK did a black metal album, which is all just like pop hits from like the 80s and 90s done in black metal fashion. And it's
Oh my
fucking
God.
great.
That makes me think there was an album when I used to listen to growing up called Pop Goes Punk. And
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
I
all,
remember that.
and I loved that shit so much.
They
It was
do
all like pop covers and punk songs.
holy shit, they do like that I'm so excited song from Saved by the Bell.
Oh, really?
Yes. And it's
Like the one that Jessie sings when
Yes.
she's on fucking.
I'm so scared.
I'm so scared.
Yeah. That record
Caffeine
was
pills.
that record is fucking great. Dark Throne, Astral Fortress, phenomenal. Dark Throne just keep doing their shit. Blood Moon, which was a collaboration between the band Converge and Chelsea Wolfe. Another one just fucking great. Worms, Blue Nothing, which is just a wonderful record. And then Sumerlands, a Dream Killer, which is like the modern cock rock album that has no business being as good as it is.
A cock rock album.
Yeah, it sounds like Poison wrote it if Poison actually had talent. And not really. It actually sounds more like Foreigner mixed with like some I don't know, maybe some Fleetwood Mac, maybe some Manowar. Like three people are there are three people that have not turned the podcast off yet.
Also, shout out to our friend Hi-Fi for his new music this year. Good stuff.
Dude, his stuff is good, man. He'll hit me with some new release stuff to play in my sound system to give him some ideas on the mixing. He's real good, and I'm not just saying that because he makes our theme song, because I love that kind of dark wave stuff, and he's got a real talent for it, whether he believes it or not.
I think he believes it.
Yeah.
He should.
All right, let's
I
wrap
hope he
this
does.
thing up.
Oh wait, hold on, more. Cold World Isolation came out this year. Cold World is one of the best black metal bands in the fucking world, and they came out with a great goddamn. It was one person. He came out with a great record this year. It's called Isolation. I bet you can guess what that's about.
It's about how he feels when he's in crowds.
About the pandemic. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Over my head.
Nihachwan is a good fucking
I think you're just making things up now.
I can't even tell if these are real bands.
Single cell paramecium.
Kanawa Black they came out with this year.
Not
They're,
Wild Black. That's
Kanawa
not
Black.
real.
They're a Native American band,
Great. Now
And-
I look like an asshole.
and they do great stuff. We saw them at Fire in the Mountains in Wyoming, and they did an acoustic set and just fucking killed it. Fuck, dude. Like New Chaos Moon came out this year, and New Ebony Pendant came out this year. All just fucking great music. There's so much good music coming out. Like I try not to be one of those old curmudgeons. It's like no good music comes out. No, so much good music comes out. But I will also say though, in my time of need, which is a great Opeth song, I go back to the classics.
God.
Dude, like
I love your love of music.
it's my
Yeah.
first love. It's my first love, and it really is. And I could talk about music for days. And I have an idea eventually to do a podcast called Unskippable, which is it has to be a record that have no skippable songs.
Mm.
Which some great records have skippable songs, but the
Wow.
record you bring to my table must have no unskippable songs. I know Jason's gonna play the Black Album. I'm just gonna eviscerate him.
Oh no.
I'm just kidding.
No.
But it's because it's just like
Zelda and Chill. No unskippable songs.
what does happen?
Zelda and Chill.
Oh, that's I have it on Spotify.
That's only because you fall asleep before you can skip any of them.
Fuck off.
Because it's so calming.
Jason.
No, I
It's
like
so
get up
calming.
in there and I'm like,
Oh shit! Bloodbath came out
dancing.
with Survival of the Sickest, and Lamp of Murmur came out with Submission and Slavery, and fucking Arizmenda.
All right, that's your top 10 list.
Spider's Lust.
Yeah.
Your top 50 list.
God damn it! I just I like.
I'm just gonna
that.
start listing off random things I'm seeing on my
It's
on
making
the
shit up.
tabs.
You
Jason.
start
have
making
open.
shit up.
What about the source language album or video length
I really like the gamer post
or
desires, and I
accepted-
also like
You guys are
accepted
asses.
by
I like sync cheese.
workflow history?
All right, so
I
we're gonna
like
end this.
clear the cache.
Now that you guys are being dicks. We're gonna end
Incognito
this
mode.
podcast. Oh, Jason knows incognito mode because he shares a computer, doesn't he?
/ remind me tomorrow.
Did you ever? Never mind. I have a funny joke from a comedian I'm going to send you because at one point it's going to be your life. You'll know what I mean.
I'm red now. So does that mean the show's over?
We're
No,
gonna make a
it's not.
gif out of me cracking Whitney.
This is
Oh my god, I've snorted so many times.
my goal is on video at least one point in every podcast to make Jason turn red and not say anything for like 10 seconds and just wait till we actually review this podcast because I have notes.
There you go. All right, let's wrap this one up.
Wait.
Whitney, thank you so much for
Wait.
coming
No
on.
more.
Wait.
No more music.
Whoa.
I have one important thing to say,
Yes.
and this is actually important. It is January 1st.
Is it?
Is
Is
it?
it when this podcast releases? It'll be January 1st or 2nd. I'll probably say this again, but thank you to all of our listeners, all of our followers who listen to us every week and makes us want to keep doing this. So it's real. You guys are all appreciated, and I really, really do mean that. But I do have one thing to shit on all you before. And it's ask us more fucking questions, people. Like, I don't put that shit out for our health. I put it out because we want to have ideas when we have a rough ass week at work. We're human beings, God damn it. And we have rough weeks at work and we can't think of good dad advice. So ask us questions.
Do you do it on Instagram?
Yeah.
I do.
I
On
gotta
stories.
it needs to get in. I gotta go get. Sometimes it doesn't show in my top 4 stories, so I need to get it in there because I'm
there?
not on Twitter anymore.
You know what?
Put
Whitney,
the
I'll-
call out in podcast fix. Like,
Okay, I don't know what that
tag
is.
people.
All right, Whitney,
Podcast
I'm gonna
Fix is the Slack channel.
I'm gonna personally message you, Whitney, whenever we put out a call. for
Yeah,
help.
I'll come up with a question. I'll
But
come up
Just
with
for, just for
something.
you.
We do mainly Instagram because Twitter just sucks more
It just
recently.
sucks
I don't
right
know
now,
why, but it just sucks more
Hey,
recently.
Our numbers have gone way up with middle or Eastern European models that don't have any posts. So
what?
hey,
Perfect.
our numbers
Perfect.
look great right now.
Elon Musk's Twitter is doing great.
What
But-
talk about punchable faces.
God.
But yes,
Save it for
thank
the
you to
after
everyone for
chat.
listening. We really do appreciate it for listening. This has been
We
a
really
really
do.
big year for us, and I'm sure we'll get more into it when it actually is closer, or maybe right after the new year. But no, this has been a huge year for the podcast, and we say it every episode, and we really do mean it. We appreciate everyone for listening.
As a listener, thank you all for making this podcast, putting yourself out of your comfort zones and doing the things that you do, because you've been doing amazing stuff for the community. Like, really, it's awesome, Jason. And I'm saying Jason because I know Jason's doing all that.
Dude,
That work.
like,
No,
dude, like,
trust me,
man,
it's a
like-
group effort.
so Jason asked for our help, but Jason will never give himself the credit he deserves for all the things he does. And that's why I bring it up so often, because I know he doesn't want to pat himself on the back. And I'll pat him on the back all the time and pat him other places too, depending on what he likes.
You can
but,
scratch it too. I'm all for back
Hey, man,
scratches.
that's a conversation offline, and we have to figure out our levels of consent and a safe word. This
Pineapple.
a safe word. How sharp are your nails?
not very sharp, but other things might be a little bit sharper.
I need to go to church.
What can we get your dad on the podcast?
I was about to say dad and daddy, but then I don't know if that would be weird for some people who don't know that my dad's a minister.
Yeah.
My dad's a minister. Okay, I have one funny story. And then we can wrap this up. I'm going to a like satanic doo-wop band in a couple
Twin
of
Towers?
days. Twin Temple.
Twin Temple.
Twin Temple.
Twin Tower. Oh my God.
There
Never forget.
cannot be a band named Twin Towers. Okay, like
What if it's all plain themed black metal?
Jesus Christ. Twin
Let's
Temple.
leave Jesus. Let's leave Jesus out of this.
Twin Towers.
Jason
Starring
doesn't believe in
Jack
Jesus.
Epstein.
We made Jason take his glasses off.
Twin Towers, the band.
Could you imagine? Like,
What if you had a band called Twin Towers?
I would have someone dressed up in an airplane. I would have someone dressed up in an
Jason
airplane
is gone.
and run
Jason
dressed
has
up.
left the building.
Jason's okay. This is a podcast first where we don't know where Jason is at.
Jason left. Might have jumped out of a
Oh my
plane.
God.
I don't know.
Jason's like Red Floyd shirt like went off the screen for like 20 seconds.
You did it. You broke me.
I don't know if my story is not that good anymore, but I can't really follow that up. But I bought a pentagram bodysuit. So the top of it's all strappy and it looks like a pentagram. And I was like, cool, this is awesome. Let me try it on and make sure it fits. This is Christmas Eve. I'm trying on my outfit, and all of a sudden I get a FaceTime from my family, like my brother, my mom, and my dad. And they're like, it's time for Christmas Eve FaceTime. I'm like, no one planned this. I am wearing my dad just finished Christmas Eve service at church,
Oh my God.
and I'm wearing a pentagram on my chest. And I had to like grab a sweater and put it on really fast and be like, hello. How was church, Dad?
Oh my God.
But I mean this when I say that. Your story about your dad's my favorite things ever, because
Yeah.
he's like he's like the cool, like he seems like the so when people that are not believers have this image of like the evil church, when your dad seems like the dude that like embodies all of that
He's
in
just
the
like,
good way.
hey,
He's even the raddest dude. Like he's like
hey, I do what the Bible says to do.
which is love thy neighbor.
Love thy
Believe it or
neighbor.
not. Believe it or
That's
not.
my dad.
Yeah.
And he likes weird movies. So
one of these days, like he's gonna be in San Francisco. I'm gonna come out to San Francisco. We're gonna have a beer. Does he drink?
he's not going to drink a beer with you.
We're gonna have a cheer wine, which is
He will have a cheer wine with you.
Oh, he likes
He
cheer
likes
wine.
he likes sodas, like the old fashioned
fuck
sodas.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
cheer wine is delicious. And we're gonna watch an episode of The King of the Hill. That's all it's gonna
Yeah. That'll get him. Yeah. He loves
Okay.
I
Kinga.
love stories about your dad. Going back though, Jason, you're pretty badass, dude. Whether you realize it or not, like you do
You
a lot of
all
good
are.
shit. And like
And Jody, who's not here.
Jody.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
clean up cat pee.
real fast.
R.I.P. Jody.
God damn it! Like Jason's
He
like, I
didn't
want to
die,
go to
but
bed.
he's
I'm
just
old.
R.I.P.
So Jody's top 5 is Pray, The Sadness, which we didn't
Wait,
talk about.
is this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 or
No,
1,
that's
4,
one,
3?
two.
We'll go down to 5. Number 5, Fresh. Number 4, Terrifier 2. Number 3, X. Number 2, The Sadness, which I totally forgot. Fucking love The Sadness. And number 1, Halloween Ends.
Wait, really?
No, it
No.
was
Oh.
Pray. But I told him I was going to call Halloween Ends before he left.
Oh my god.
He was
Wait,
in
what
that
was the-
love triangle. What are you going to do?
What was number 1?
Pray.
Damn. High up there.
Understand. I think Jody also watched out with his kids, and his kids loved it, and fucking more power to him, man. Like that's a cool experience.
That's
Also-
exciting.
Unless you take your daughter to see Midsummer, which
No. I will. No, real quick. I can't not talk about Wednesday.
Jason, we're trying to wrap this up. Let's get.
I know, but just to say, go watch Wednesday with your daughter. Best
I was
horror
just
dad movie
watching Wednesday. I'll watch it with my dog.
There you go.
But
Watching Wednesday with my daughter was probably one
get
of
a
the best
daughter
horror
and watch
experiences I had
Wednesday.
Get a daughter, watch Wednesday.
Hashtag get a
sorry.
daughter.
Birth a daughter and get or adopt one. Don't just get one. Like you can't just like go.
Go
Steal
steal
one.
someone's daughter. We
That'd
do
be-
not endorse stealing children.
Absolutely not. We don't. We're not Jack Epstein.
Not Jack Epstein over here.
Jorge.
His band
That's
Twin
good.
Temples, Twin
Okay.
Towers.
Jake Epstein is banned Twin Tower.
Oh my God. Don't make me do it again.
It's like the Busey family, but they're all Epstein.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
god. Okay.
It's over.
Whitney, thank you so much for coming. Where can people find you?
Right now, all my socials are pretty locked down. So head over to bloodyhorror.com.
Bloody horse. What is happening tonight?
bloodyhorrors.com, bloodygoodhorror.com, and check out some of my reviews on there. Otherwise, I'm at Whitney please. WIBNEYPLS. At some point I'll come out off of private and you can watch the bullshit I post.
And can they send a request and say they heard you here?
If you want to send a request and say I heard you here, maybe I'll see it. I won't see it on Twitter for a very long time, but I'll see it on Instagram.
And if you haven't seen it yet, please check out How Not to Make a Movie podcast on YouTube. Check out the table read of Dead Easy. Again, Jason won't take credit for this.
Oh, I'll take credit for that one. I worked so fucking hard on that.
Jason was a spark for this, but it came out really, really great. And are they still doing donations, Jason, at this point? Or
by the time this comes out, I mean, we'll take your money, but we'll email the deadeasy2022@gmail.com. We'll figure something out.
cool. If you want to help out, it's a really great charity. So
Again, we can figure something out.
Again, as a year comes to an end, we thank everyone for taking the time to listen to us. There's a lot of fucking podcasts out there, and you chose the wrong one to listen to. So thank you all. I'm just kidding. I think we're okay, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
You're in my rotation every week.
That's all that matters. As long as we have Whitney and Tommy, we're good. We're gonna keep making a podcast.
And
Shout out to
Ozzy
Tommy.
Andy.
Shout out to Tommy and Andy.
Yeah.
Dude, Tommy's on this fucking like advent calendar beer thing where each beer is like 19%. I don't know if that man is gonna make it through January at this point.
I liked the person that was like, "Is Tommy alive today?"
That's
We
right.
haven't heard from Tommy today. Did he die?
That's a
All I
daily
know
question.
is that Tommy went being to a seedy part of Philadelphia down a weird alley, and we got awesome cheesesteaks. So
Sounds like a fair trade.
I'm not saying it was a great idea, but I'm saying it worked out. Like we didn't die.
Did not die.
Any day you don't poop your pants is a good day. That's what I always say.
I don't know about that. Like you could lose an arm and not put your hands at the same time. Like
Put down the
that would
t-shirt.
be a great day.
That is my life motto.
But I will say, as dad advice, is once you hit like 40, don't trust a fart.
I got 6
God.
more years. Trust my farts and then.
Well,
Okay.
I kind of do. I'm 39. I still
All right.
trust them.
I'm calling it. That's my point. We talk about pooping your pants.
Eh.
All right. We appreciate everyone for listening. We appreciate if you would give us a rating review on iTunes and the rating on Spotify. Check out our Patreon and check out our YouTube, yada, yada, yada. With that, we thank you for listening to Dads from the Crypt.
Adios, except Glenn Jacobs, because you suck and you're under investigation. I hope you fucking lose your office, and I hope you lose your livelihood, and I hope someone kicks you in the shins because you
I
deserve
hope
it.
every time you fart, you poop your pants.
Yes. Yes. And that's a big guy. It's a lot of poop. All right.
Oh,
Bye, guys.
God. All right.
Follow Dads from the Crypt on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or I will follow you to the grave. No, seriously, you really should watch. But be careful what you ask for. You may get it.